Hey, Craig Powers, Firearms Training. We're here for edition 2 of our question, what if the only gun I had series for self-defense? In this case, we're going to say if the only gun I had for self-defense was a Beretta 1934 380 semi-automatic pistol. Now, I'm not Forgotten Weapons to go into the whole history of it, so I'm going to link some video from Forgotten Weapons, Ian McCollum, who knows everything about it. And the gun was produced from 1934 until 1992, according to Wiki, and Wiki never lies, right? So this was in use by the Italian military, evidently, until 1991. So from 1934 to 1991. From a military situation, a military mindset, the Beretta 1934 was a very viable self-defense gun for officers of the Italian military up until 1991. And interestingly, I recently found magazines, new old stock magazines at a really reasonable price. I think it was from Sarco or Numrich Gun Parts. Brand new magazines. Aluminum base pads, everything new. So we're going to shoot it. We'll see how it works. We're going to start at 16 yards. And we're going to fire one loadout in the gun. So the way the military carried this is a round in the chamber, full mag in the gun. We're also going to try it with modern self-defense ammo. Round nose ball ammunition in 380, not really well suited for self-defense. This is Winchester Western Silvertip. It's a good hollow point. Has been for a lot of years since it was developed. Pretty good self-defense round in 380. Wouldn't hesitate to carry it in 380. In fact, I was going to carry 380, would probably carry this. It's reliable, accurate. I've got some of it for Becky's guns and my daughter's gun, and it's a good load. Been around since the early 80s. So let's shoot it at 16 yards. My Impact Sports earmuffs, because if you wear them all day, you want comfortable ones, and I do. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and load it up with silver tips. So to go ahead and charge it up, I'm going to go ahead and put a round in the chamber, safety on. Then I'm going to go ahead and put another round in the magazine. So a full loadout, 8 rounds. 7 rounds in the mag, 1 in the chamber. Now, to take the gun and put it at half cock, I point it in a safe direction, clamp my thumb over the back of the frame, slide, and press the trigger. Let go of the trigger, carefully ease the hammer down to half cock. So the last gunfight one of our clients was in, where it was a big gunfight, and he was shot twice, was about 5 feet. So we're going to run it at about 3 yards. 9 feet. Now the sights on these guns are not noted for being easy to see. They're minuscule. They're vestigial. So when you look at the sights, there's not much there. But they're there. Rear sight is drift adjustable for windage, so you could adjust it. And let's just go down range. So what if we had multiple attackers? At about 3 yards. And they attack me. Stop! And I can... And I'm still moving. And I had a loaded magazine instead of an unloaded magazine in my pocket. I could maybe get enough rounds down range to defend myself. Okay, we're going to try it again. This is multiple attackers, 3rd try. Gun's in my pocket. I need to use it for self-defense. Stop! Okay, we're empty. Everybody, keep seat. Let's go bench it and go back and talk about it. Yeah. So the Beretta 1934, good gun. I mean, it works really well. If I had it, I was going to practice with it and I had some ammo, you'd understand that I'm going to get some hammer bite, which means the hammer is pinching my hand against the frame. I can wear gloves, that would stop it. 8-shot 380, it's all steel. It's got very little recoil. It's got kind of an interesting disassembly thing, but this particular gun has a heavily rusted barrel, so there's, I don't know if you can see down the barrel. See if I could get this to work right. Can you see it? Is it working? Anyway, it's got the rust pits in the barrel. Sorry, I wouldn't point the gun at you because you're a camera. And if you were there, I wouldn't do that. I would take the gun apart. Anyway, it's got a lot of pits in the barrel. Maybe not the most accurate gun in the world. Consider it was made in 1937, and this is 2020. I will admit that I put brand new springs in the gun, firing pin spring, recoil springs, because I wanted to make sure that the recoil of the gun working didn't beat the gun up. So, hey, am I talking too loud? Let me take these off. There, is that better? All right. I want to make sure that the gun didn't beat itself to death while we're practicing with it. So let's go down range and look at our target to see how the gun did at a long distance self-defense range and multiple attackers. You ready? You ready? All right. Well, you might just sit there and we'll go. Okay, let's go down range. So we started off with basically a loadout, or the gun loaded with 8 rounds, and we shot it at 16 yards, give or take a few inches. And I'll show you how we did. So my point of aim was right here. So we're pretty good. The first round was the round to the left. The rest of them are in a nice horizontal dispersion of about 2 inches. Nicely done at 16 yards. Is that viable? I think so. And that was with Winchester Western silver tips. That's good self-defense ammo. So the bullet stabilized, the gun feeds, it's never jammed. And all the times I've been shooting it, I will say that the newly made mags, the new old stock, work really well. The old mag is kind of worn out. The spring's worn out and feed lips are worn out and it's rusty, but it still works. So let's look at our target on our multiple target drills. So I have a couple of shots to the left, a couple to the right. Not unusual for me as I turn left to fire. Center target, again, a little bit to the left, but shoot a little bit high. Was aiming basically at the orange dot on each of these. And again, a little bit high. Not so unusual for me when twisting and shooting on a right-hand target. All of them inside, all of them fairly rapidly. Could I shoot this gun defensively as quickly as I could a more modern 380? Oh yeah, I don't think I have a problem with it. There's a reason the Italians used this gun until the 1990s. So loaded up with 8 rounds. It's kind of heavy. It's not a modern gun. The sights are adjustable. There's not much to them. A little bit of practice. Could you shoot this gun well? Yeah, pretty well. Will it stay inside a paper plate at 16 yards? Absolutely. Probably do a lot better than that if I would do better than that. Probably one that's a little tighter, that's not as rusted up as this one, would do even better. If it was the only gun you had for self-defense, would a Beretta 1934 do the job? Yeah. The 380 cartridge has sufficient lethality. It's, with the silver tip load, statistically about 6 out of 10 people shot one time between the collarbone and the crotch stop trying to hurt people or run away. So they stop trying to hurt people if they run away. So 65% of the time, statistically, the 380 is going to be about as good as anything else. Some more modern statistics show that as long as you have a 380 with a modern hollow point, it's about as good as any other caliber. So what are the things we would have to work around? Adaptations to use the model 1934. I'd have to adapt to either carrying it at half cock and cocking it, or adapt to that safety, which would mean kind of turning the gun in my hand, taking the safety off. and I would have to practice that as the gun comes out. Well, what if I didn't have two hands to cock the hammer? Well, there's ways to learn to run it over a surface, like, for instance, my belt or something, to try to cock it, and I could reach down and run it over the belt, and now it's cocked if I only had one hand. But then again, if somebody's got me pinned to the ground and beating my head into the concrete, I may have to do it one-handed and not muff it and not accidentally fire it. Except the limitations. If you have only one gun and it's a 1934, is it going to have limitations in terms of sights and safeties? Yes. Is it heavy? Yes. Is it a viable self-defense gun? In my mind, absolutely. It was sufficient for officers. It's not a mainline battle rifle. It's a pistol issued to people who were not expected to actually have to fight with it. But is it a viable fighting weapon if you had to? You didn't have a choice, even though you don't want to get in a fight with your gun. Yes. Thanks for watching. Join us at Five Dogs when they open up, which will be about May 30th. Check our calendar. Check the links below. Like or subscribe. And we'd really appreciate it. We'd really thank you for that. See you on the range. Powers Firearms Training. Have a good day.